All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You know, in case you missed it over the weekend, the talk before the bombings, of course, was the birth certificate. Trump's a birther. So what if he apologized and said, okay, Obama was born in the United States. That's not good enough because Trump's a racist. He started this. No, he didn't. And I wish that the surrogates that sit there for Trump could tell them, the network people, exactly what I'm going to tell you now and show you now. If I know it, they should know it. And if they know it, they should say it. And it worries me that I seem to know more than a lot of them. I'm sorry to say. I'm not patting myself on the back. It's just true. Now, who started this whole birther thing? Well, I tell you, according to Patty Solis Doyle, former campaign chairwoman of the 2008 Hillary campaign, it was a Hillary staffer.
The campaign or Hillary did not start the birther movement, period, end of the story there. There was a volunteer coordinator, I believe, in late 2007, I think in December, one of our volunteer coordinators in one of the counties in Iowa. I don't recall whether they were an actual paid staffer, but they did forward an email that promoted the conspiracy.
The birther conspiracy?
Hillary, yeah.
Oh, they didn't start it. They just promoted the conspiracy. Okay. Well, Trump didn't start it either. And Hillary's campaign promoted it, and wait till you see who else promoted it. But now listen to Patty Solis Doyle, because this is very telling.
Hillary made the decision immediately to let that person go. We let that person go. And it was so, beyond the pale, Wolf, and, so not worthy of the kind of campaign that certainly Hillary wanted to run, or that we as a staff wanted to run, that I called David Plouffe, who was obviously managing Barack Obama's campaign in 2007, to apologize and basically say that this was not coming from us. It was a rogue volunteer coordinator, and this was not the kind of campaign we wanted to run.
Big problem with that, Patty. Big problem. You mentioned David Plouffe. Keep that name there because we're going to get to that in a second. That was Obama's campaign manager. Do you remember this picture? No, before we get to the picture. Turns out that it wasn't just a rogue person in the Hillary campaign. You know the name Sidney Blumenthal? Hillary's confidant, Hillary's right-hand person, so to speak. I mean, he doesn't travel with her, but he had access to her. He was always sending her emails about Benghazi. They've had a relationship for decades. Sid Blumenthal. Well, I'm going to put this up on the screen here. This is from James Asher of McClatchy News Service. And listen to what he recently said. He had a meeting with Sid Blumenthal back in 2008. During that meeting, Mr. Blumenthal and I met together in my office, and he strongly urged me to investigate the exact place of President Obama's birth, which he suggested was in Kenya. We assigned a reporter to go to Kenya, and that reporter was determined that the allegation was false. At the time of Mr. Blumenthal's conversation with me, there had been a few news articles published in various outlets reporting rumors about Obama's birthplace. While Mr. Blumenthal offered no concrete proof of Obama's Kenyan birth, I felt that as journalists we had a responsibility to determine whether or not those rumors were true. They were not. So Blumenthal, Hillary's close friend and supporter and confidant, who when she became Secretary of State, she wanted to hire at the State Department, and Obama said, no, you can't have this character in there. So he advised her anyway in a personal capacity and basically said, go overthrow Gaddafi. Okay, Sid Blumenthal, when as this McClatchy guy just said, there was a few rumblings, nothing more, and Blumenthal called me into a meeting and said, go find out in Kenya that Obama was born in Kenya. Go send a reporter there. Check it out. So it makes a lie out of what Patty Solis Doyle. Now she could say, well, that wasn't the campaign. I don't care. Grow up, Patty. Now, if I know this, and now you know this, why doesn't Trump know this? Why doesn't Trump's surrogates know this? I haven't heard one person say this except me. Not one. Now, we're not finished. Look at this picture. Remember that picture? To imply that Obama was a Muslim? Remember that picture? From 2007. When that picture was put out, David Plouffe, the Obama campaign director at the time, said this. On the very day that Senator Clinton is giving a speech about restoring respect for America in the world, her campaign has engaged in the most shameful, offensive fear-mongering we've seen from either party in this election. This is part of a disturbing pattern that led her county chairs to resign in Iowa, her campaign chairman to resign in New Hampshire, and it's exactly the kind of divisive politics that turns away Americans of all parties and diminishes respect for America in the world. He's talking about that picture, which he said the Clinton campaign put out there. Okay? So, Patty Solis Doyle, what about that? That was the campaign, according to David Plouffe, the man you said you apologized to about the rogue staffer putting out the emails about him being born somewhere else. You're in it up to here, Clinton and that campaign, up to here. So why can't Trump surrogates tell the world this? Why do you have to watch it on the Steve Malzberg show? Now, we're not finished. This came up at a debate. Remember Brian Williams when he was Brian Williams? Before he told us about, all these things he did, like walking on the moon? It came up at a debate. Watch.
The photo went out on the website, The Drudge Report, showing Senator Obama in the native garb of a nation he was visiting, as you have done in a host country on a trip overseas. Matt Drudge on his website said it came from a source inside the Clinton campaign. Can you say unequivocally here tonight it did not?
Well, so far as I know, it did not. And I certainly know nothing about it and have made clear that that's not the kind of behavior that I condone or expect from the people working in my campaign. But we have no evidence where it came from.
Where have you heard that before? There's no evidence. Can you unequivocally deny it? Well, as far as I know, that's not an unequivocal denial. And, well, there's no evidence. That's what she says about everything. They lie like they breathe. Where are the Trump surrogates telling the world this story? Hey, folks, in case you missed it, the Hollywood left. Did you see the Emmy Awards last night? I wouldn't waste my time. Lowest ratings ever, I think. Poor Jimmy Kimmel. They used the awards to bash Donald Trump. Let's run the montage.
After careful consideration, I decided I'm going with Trump, which is why I'm also recommending we get rid of all Muslim and Hispanic nominees from the ceremony immediately. Wow, this would be so much easier if we were at the Oscars.
If you are a person of color in our audience tonight, especially if you're a nominee, please find a white person right now. Go ahead. It shouldn't be hard. I see a bunch of them right here. Just take a moment to reach out and say thanks for your bravery.
I think that Veep has torn down the wall between comedy and politics. Our show started out as a political satire, but it now feels more like a sobering documentary. So I certainly do promise to rebuild that wall and make Mexico pay for it.